What's up? It's your boy, Dames Marvs, and welcome back to Nfhell Week 3. I'm here with Gobo. Wow, the Packers have aged you, sir. Just kidding. Gobo is
Hey,
ill.
looking better with age, right? Yeah.
Gobo is ill, so we got Major Tommy to fill in as he is also a despicable Packer fan.
Yes.
Yeah, get used to
Yes.
it. I'm gonna pick
Get
on
used
him
to
all
it.
day. No. This is our
uh
recap show. Um, we're recapping week two, the games for week two, on week three. So, as you might have noticed, we separated these shows just because the show was a little lengthy, coming in at just under 3 hours. So we decided to break it up for your uh whatever, your enjoyment, your uh efficiency to more effectively use your time, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, we're going to start out with Buffalo versus Miami on Thursday night football. This was disgusting. Did you watch any of this?
I saw pieces of it. Yeah.
All right. So Gobo said Buffalo was going to win. I said Miami was going to win. And the only reason that happened was because I got to pick first. He was going to pick Miami. Uh, Otherwise, this whole thing is reversed, and I win the week because we went 8-8. We both went 8-8 on the week. So here's the highlights from this game, basically. Um, Tua Tagovailoa was running up the middle to the 1 yard line, and he just lowered his head. He got douched. He got completely douched.
Not
Um,
smart.
he laid on the ground, and everybody knew this is his fourth concussion. Uh, Out of the game probably forever. He's on the IR now, and we'll cover that when we talk about news in the next segment. But man, I mean, Troy Aikman was forced out because of concussions, but he won 3 Super Bowls first. Two is way young to be going through
Yeah.
things.
And the thing about concussions is, they don't get any better or easier to recover from the more of them you have and the older you get. Um, I think, as you know, I'm a big hockey fan. I think back to Sidney Crosby, the last concussion he had, and how long it took him to recover from that. And if you're at a 4 count on concussions, I mean, obviously it's his choice, but man, you got to be thinking this is not good. And in a way, really too bad for the Dolphins. I mean, they've they've shown a lot of promise. I've been a closet Dolphins fan the last few years, watching them come along, thinking, okay, they're making progress here, and this is not going to help at all. So obviously,
So here's the problem, and then we'll move on to the next game.
yep,
31-10 was the final, and they've now lost 12 of the last 13 to
yeah,
Buffalo. I'm
yeah.
I don't know how you could pick Miami again against Buffalo for a good long while. All right. Next up was the opening game on Sunday. It was the Las Vegas Raiders at Baltimore. Okay. Well, if you remember Baltimore, week one lost in Kansas City. That was not a shocker. All right.
No,
Was for Gobo, apparently, who picked Baltimore. But now, actually, I think he picked Kansas City. We both picked. No, he did pick Baltimore. So yeah, he was picking Baltimore again this week, which we both did. Why wouldn't we? The Raiders.
yeah.
What? 26-23 Raiders won this game in
Hu-
Baltimore.
Huge surprise there, and I think there's issues in Baltimore that are perhaps more significant than anybody thought. I think if I remember correctly, looking at the power rankings after 2 weeks, they're down in the middle of the league somewhere. So yeah, they've got some issues they need to work on, and you know, that's why they play the games, right?
Well,
It,
to the um, Baltimore fans are calling for Harbaugh's head at 0-2, and they're like, "Well, who do you want to be the coach?" And they're like, "Mike McDonald, who was their defensive coordinator the last however long, and is now the head coach of the Seahawks, is 2-0. So
yeah.
um, too late. We got him. You can't have him back. Sorry.
Well, and Harbaugh is still a very, very good coach. I always, I mean, coaches make differences for sure. And when we talk about Green Bay, we'll talk about that. But the front office has a lot to do with things as
Well,
well. And so, yeah,
if we look at Harbaugh, he's been the coach there since '08.
yeah.
That's the second longest tenured coach. Once Carroll and old uh, Emperor Palpatine from New England were let go last year. Uh, Tim and Mike Tomlin. Tomlin was '07 and Harbaugh '08. So we'll see what happens in Baltimore. Uh,
Harbaugh has stood the test of time.
I
He ain't going anywhere.
I don't know. I, I I thought that about Pete Carroll, but if they don't have a winning season, or if especially if they don't have a winning season, he's toast.
Yeah,
So
maybe.
they got a hole to dig themselves out of right now. Third game on the schedule, the Los Angeles Chargers at Carolina. Carolina is going to have the first pick of the draft again. Um, they're
And it
just
doesn't seem to help them when they get it.
they're just awful. We both picked the Chargers and knew
Yeah,
Harbaugh. And of course, it was 26-3 Chargers. All right.
not a lot to talk about there.
Now, I mean, we'll talk about what the results of that mean in the next segment. So, New Orleans at Dallas. We both picked Dallas, and why wouldn't we? Again, we saw New Orleans beat up on a really bad Carolina team. I mean, it was, I believe week one was 45. It was a lot to a little. It was like 47-10. All right. And so enter week two. We figure they're going to get gut checked in Dallas. 44-19, they won.
Couple of comments on this one. First one is I think the Saints they've got something, they got a lot more going on here than people were expecting. I think they may be a surprise, a sleeper for this year. There's something happening there. And I hate to beat up on my old Packers coach, but once again, Mike McCarthy has managed to pull.
Sacks.
He has managed to pull defeat from the jaws of victory here. Um, Dallas, there is no reason why this team isn't doing better than they are, except coaching. That's my take on it. But anyway,
Well, I'll give you my overall opinion on Dallas. I don't want them to win ever, but here's the thing. The most common denominator, and they've had some great teams, is Jerry Jones as the GM. He
yeah,
needs to step his old ass down and let somebody come in and do it. But he's gonna do it until he dies.
he won't, and he knows the money side of it in terms of money and profitability, value of the team, all of that. There's nobody in the league better than Jerry Jones.
And
But in terms of the successful team, no. I mean,
I'll
he
say this.
messes with too much.
I heard that Dak Prescott said at his press conference, basically, that he doesn't care if the team wins because he already got paid. I just watched the full press conference and I saw nothing of,
Didn't
of
hear
that.
anything.
And I
Yeah.
mean, that was directly following the game. Maybe it was a different press conference that I missed, but as far as this one goes, Dallas is in trouble. 44-19, they lost at home. Boy, oh boy, they were 0 for 3 in the red zone. Um, Meanwhile, New Orleans has scored 91 points in the first two games and included 18 consecutive drives where they
They're
scored.
for real. I think they're for real.
No, and it's a credit to you for saying it, but I would have been way more impressed had you said this before the first game.
Well, I don't follow it close enough, probably.
All right, Tampa Bay, Detroit. God damn it. Gobo said Tampa Bay because he loves Baker Mayfield for whatever reason. I like him too, but I think what it is he just doesn't want to pick Detroit because he's a homer, and he is certainly that. But he also has Detroit winning the division. So how is Detroit going to win the division if you see where I'm getting?
I see exactly where you're going with that. It wasn't a blowout. It was a competitive game. Nobody's going to get through. Nobody is going to get through the season undefeated, and this was just Detroit's week. I think. I I I think that this was just one of those weeks. I think Detroit's going to be very, very formidable. And I'm like Gobo. I don't want them to win the division,
I,
obviously,
s-
but
I still think Detroit is a Matthew Stafford away from winning the Super Bowl. That's my comment
I'm
for the year. They actually lost this game 20-16 to Tampa Bay uh at Detroit. Not good. All right, here you go. I'm gonna let you take this one. Indianapolis Colts, Green Bay Packers in Lambeau.
good, obviously a good home opener for the Pack. A couple of surprises in this game, I thought. I mean, obviously we're playing the Colts. Okay, so not the toughest opponent we're going to face by any means, but Josh Jacobs, running back, stepping up, had a fantastic first half, and not a bad second half, although we had to start putting it through the air a little bit. But I remember watching the game, and it was something like 21 of the first 23 plays on offense for the Packers were runs. Jacobs got the ball probably 90, 80 or 90% of those runs and averaged 10 yards a run. So, you know, very, very bright spot there. Um, Malik Willis coming in as backup quarterback, um, you know, went with the game plan and didn't pass a lot, but he passed when he got us what we needed when we needed it. Romeo Dobbs, two or three really, really great receptions at key moments in the game. And then the defense. Now, uh, we still have defensive issues. Packers always seem to. We always have injury issues. But Xavier McKinney, playing safety, um, he has been through two games now this season, has not allowed a single yard of offense when he was the player closest to the reception. And he's got two picks on the season already after week two. This kid is really, really good. He's going to be a really great player for the Packers going forward. Kudos to Matt LaFleur and the coaching staff. With Jordan Love being out, they took the team. They figured out exactly what they needed to do to have an opportunity to win this game, and they executed pretty flawlessly. So That's my take on that one.
Yeah, Green Bay, 16-10. I saw Forrest Buckner injured in this game for the Colts. I'm told they look like Swiss cheese on the run defense.
They did.
Um, but we still are looking at a growing Anthony Richardson. So I'm saying if you guys played in this exact scenario a year from now, I don't
The
know.
outcome might be different.
I
Of course,
don't know if you'd have
we'd
this.
have Jordan Love back too. So,
I'd said in the same condition,
oh yeah,
uh, but with only a season more of games for Anthony Richards. This is only his sixth game, really.
yeah.
So I know I saw that he had two picks. Again, we both picked Green Bay, and I think Gobo did not expect that. Um, but I also know that Lambeau's a hard place to play in, and this was been his first trip there, so whatever. Let's move on. Cleveland at Jacksonville. Man, oh man, we both picked Jacksonville. Big Dick Trevor Lawrence let us down. Uh, I don't, I really, really am not liking Cleveland and Deshaun Watson. I just, I find it, yeah, like you ate a piece of shit or something when you're talking about it. So I'll just leave it at that. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with Jacksonville. They're
Jacksonville's 0-2 already, and they shouldn't be. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know what's going on down there.
anything else on that one?
Nope, nope.
All right. This one. San Francisco at Minneapolis. We both picked San Francisco. Why wouldn't we? We are looking at a depleted, well, I can't really say that anymore. Minnesota team who seems to have found Kirk Cousins part two in Sam Darnold. And I'm gonna say this right in front of your face. Brock Purdy ain't Jesus Christ. All right. He ain't.
I'm an Iowa State fan for those who don't know. So
Here's the deal.
I'm an alum.
They don't have Christian McCaffrey right now. I hear they lost Debo during this game. So that puts the pressure directly on the quarterback, and he can't get it done. He can't get it done. Just like the Super Bowl.
Well, I'm going to say you've got that, but I'm also going to say this. I think the Vikings are another one of these teams that are going to surprise a lot of people this year. They're a good football team, and I think they're going to be competitive. I think the Central Division or the North Division NFC is going to be very competitive. Vikings are going to be in the mix. So,
Yeah. Um,
so I wouldn't want to say this victory is all because San Francisco's got problems. The Vikings are a good football team. So,
truth. Um, I was happy to miss this one. So uh anytime San Francisco loses, I'll be fine with that. All right, next game. We're looking at Seattle traveling all the way across the country to New England and playing 10 a.m. game, 10 a.m. Seattle time. Never an easy thing to do. I was wondering, we were actually masterful at it during the Pete Carroll era. So I wondered how the new coach was going to handle that. And apparently, he reached out to Carroll and Carroll's team and said, you guys were exceptional at these 10 a.m. games. How did you manage to do it? And apparently, he's following a lot of the same policies to make sure the bodies are ready to go at 10
did
a.m.
did he personally tuck them into bed the night before?
Uh, I doubt it. I really doubt it. Pete Carroll might have. So, Gobo, you idiot, said New England was going to win 16-13. Um, we both had the margin of victory correct, which was 3 points. I had 28-25. Actual score 20-23. Seattle wins on an overtime field goal. And look at what we have here.
Oh yeah.
This is a candle that apparently smells like Seattle victory. They're gonna light this bitch up. Oh, there we go. I wish you guys could see it the whole time, but since you can't smell it, you don't really need to see it either. But trust me, it's right there.
You could just hold it in front of your face.
So this game was kind of, I mean, Gino showcase. I'll be honest with you. The dude threw 44 passes. Of 44 passes, 44 passes were on target. There were 6 drops in this game. He would have been 39 of 44 had those completions been made, and he would have had over 400 yards, and the game would have been over before overtime. Um, McDonald's still making his way through being a rookie coach. Week 1, he chased points on a 2-point conversion, which is if you guys know me, you know I hate chasing points. This week he went for it on 4th down and a couple yards, like just outside of long field goal range, and he got it. Later in that same quarter, he went for it on 4th down when we could have had like a 30-yard field goal, and we did not get it. And I hate that. I always want points. So hopefully he learns from these things and cleans it up. Luckily, we made it out of New England at 2-0, and I get to smell this brilliant candle.
The only thing I'm going to say on that, and this is not to take away from Gino's performance, because I agree with you. I thought it was really good. And, work on those drops and it gets better, I think. But I think New England is really bad this year. I just, I think they're not going to do well. And so theirs was, your situation was a little bit like the Packers playing the Colts. Now, will New England get
I'm
better over time? Who knows? But I don't think they're, yeah. Anyway, next
gonna
game.
push back a little bit,
Okay.
and I'm gonna push back because in week 1, Jacoby Brissett and New England went into Cincinnati, and Joe Burrow looked confused, lost, destroyed, and they won that game uh in week 1, 16-10. Now,
I
not
think that says more about, now go ahead.
not a huge margin of victory, but Joe Burrow is on his way to being a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he looked, I don't want to say the R word, but he looked bad. He looked real bad,
Yeah.
confused, and they were on him all day long. He couldn't do anything in his building. So to go there after that defensive performance against him, Gino
Gino.
he outplayed what is going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. So,
Yeah, I agree with that.
but we also know that we thought New England was going to be terrible anyway. We thought, why'd you fire Belichick and hire Jared Mayo? Jared
Yeah.
Mayo was never going to go 2-0, right? I
No,
mean, no.
no.
So I'm with you. I don't think they're great, but I could see them beating the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. I could see it. All right. Speaking of the Jets, God, this I know it sounds like puke every time I talk about the Jets, But let me tell you my frustration. Okay. We've been talking on this show about East Coast bias and how, when it comes to awards and shit like that, if you're good for New York, you can be not as good as a player from Seattle and still win the award because of the bias. That's all I'm going to say on that. It's
It's
history.
real.
Don't care anymore. But they've done absolutely nothing in the last 10 years to warrant 8 fucking games that appear in prime time.
Oh,
What have you done to
it's
deserve
all
this?
it's all about
Game is
audience.
garbage. I don't want to watch you or Aaron Rodgers in prime time. Sickening. All right, this was the first game not in prime time. Jets, Tennessee. Go ahead.
Um, well, um, Aaron Rodgers pulls one out against a mediocre team. I'll just leave it at that.
That's all I have to say. One mediocre team beats another mediocre team.
Yes. Yeah.
And thank God this was one was not in prime time because how do you even like get up and watch that game? Like, whatever. All right.
And a quick aside on that,
Yeah.
some fan organization, and I don't think this was scientific at all, but they interviewed 1,000 NFL fans and asked them who the most annoying player in the league was, and Aaron Rodgers won in a runaway,
Hands down, dude.
hands down.
His own team, if his own team took that poll, he would still win. And he'd
Yes,
vote for himself.
probably.
Fucking, oh my God. All right. Speaking of New York, uh, just absolute turds. We have the Giants going into Washington.
What a turd of a game, huh?
Yeah. And we both picked Washington, and we're both right. Uh, Jaden Daniels gets his first win under new coach Dan Quinn. I'm happy to see that combination, and I'm happy it was against the 0-2 Giants, who are going to get the second pick of the draft. Uh, actually, it's going to be between Carolina and New York, but I honestly believe Carolina is. Do they
Got
play?
the
Do
edge.
they play each other this year? That'd be phenomenal.
I bet they do.
That would be phenomenal. Anyway, another just absolute shit game that we shouldn't even waste any time talking about unless you have a comment on it.
No, no comment on that one.
Yeah, hard to do. All right, Rams at Arizona. This is baffling. Okay, I know Puka Nakua is out. I did see Cooper Cup went out in this game. So who does Matthew Stafford have left to throw to? Tutu Atwell and a couple tight ends. I think they got picked up a tight end from Seattle. Yeah, they did. And but really,
What's going on with the Rams defense?
Aaron Donald retired.
I mean, it's non-existent. This game should never have been, I mean, they should not lose by 3 touchdowns. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns. Jeez. So here's what
Yeah,
I'm gonna say about this. Okay. Last week, Kyler Murray in his press conference was asked why they didn't target Marvin Harrison Jr. more. And he's like, dude, I just throw the ball where the play is designed to go. And he basically threw his coordinator under the bus. And lo and behold,
I got no responsibility.
this week, the first 2 touchdowns went to rookie Marvin Harrison Jr., and they were both electric. And I believe that he had a perfect passer rating when throwing to Marvin Harrison Jr. And that combination, honestly, I'm not a big Kyler Murray fan. He looks like Mario running around on the field to me. But it's just I'm scared of them. I'll admit it. I'm not scared of Brock Purdy one bit, but Kyler Murray scares me. And I
Well,
think to balance that out, just so you don't feel completely like garbage, the reason I'm not scared of Brock Purdy is because I'm conditioned to lose to the 49ers because the team is good.
right.
All right. I'm not
The
scared of Brock
organization
Purdy,
is
I'm
good.
scared of the team.
Yeah.
When I look at Arizona, I've never been scared of the team, and it's a game that we should win. And the fact that they have Kyler Murray now with Marvin Harrison Jr. levels that playing field. And now a game that I expect to win is not necessarily,
Yeah.
that is how you manifest that comment. So anything else on that game?
Nope.
All right, we both picked the Rams. We were both wrong. I'll just say that. And we were wrong big time. Pittsburgh at Denver. This pisses me off because this was supposed to be the Russell Wilson returning to the coach and team that's paying his $29 million of his $30 million salary this season. Would have been awesome
Awesome.
to have them pay him to beat them. And this is where I'm going to drop this statistic. So it was Justin Fields against Bo Nix. None of the quarterbacks that were drafted in this year's draft, I know we're only 2 weeks in, but we're 2 weeks done. None of the drafted quarterbacks have thrown a touchdown pass. I believe Bo Nix has run for one. I can't confirm or deny whether any of the other guys have run. I think Justin Fields, or not Justin Fields, Caleb Williams might have run for one. I don't even know that for sure. But for the first pick of the draft, and this, all right, I'm just gonna say it. Justin Fields was only available for this game because you traded him away, Chicago. And I'm gonna say, looking at the first 2 weeks of Caleb Williams, shame on you. You had
Yeah.
the
I
first
agree.
pick of the draft,
100%.
a
100%.
quarterback that was very serviceable in Justin Fields, just coming into his own, who's now 2-0, just so you know.
Yep.
For Pittsburgh, you could, and you also had the eighth pick or whatever, wherever you picked Roma Dunze from Washington, but you could have traded that first pick and Caleb Williams to anyone and been reaping the benefits of that trade for 5 years
Yes.
and completely turn your organization from the bottom of the pack to legitimate Super Bowl contenders in 3 years. The amount of capital you could have gotten, I just, to this day, I think they're going to regret that for years to come. And I don't like it when Gobo's right. And of course, the tail of the tape still remains to be seen. But he said Caleb Williams is garbage. He's going to be garbage. I mean, if he's Jamarcus Russell part two, woohoo,
My
woohoo,
only co- my only comment on this one is
haha.
Russell Wilson may not take a snap in Pittsburgh.
I well, I guess I need
I
to look
think that's a real possibility.
I need to look it up before we record this next show because this will be the week that he's supposed to start. He's got the captain on his jersey. It was said that he's not going to lose his job because of injury, but that could only last a half. I really don't
I
know.
agree. I agree.
I do believe he'll at least take a snap, but if things ain't going like they were, I mean, Justin Fields has been efficient.
I I
I
think
like him. I like Justin Fields. I was
I
one of
do
the big
too. I do
ones.
too. I think he's the future there, and I think maybe they need to just get on with the business and moving on. So
Well, I predicted that Wilson would have 3 touchdowns, and well, he didn't play. So prediction.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did pick Pittsburgh, and Jackass Gobo picked Denver.
After saying all those mean things about the quarterback.
Well, yeah, and that's why. That's why he doesn't like or trust Justin Fields, but he also said this. He goes, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. Well, he's 1-0, so he probably can lose this one. That was his rationale. I'm like, Denver sucks. They might get the third pick of the draft. But it was a shitty game, 13-6. Pittsburgh should be proud, I guess. But
They should have won by more.
Bo Nix was garbage. All right, Cincinnati at Kansas City. Gobo told me that he wanted to pick Cincinnati, but because of the Burrow at Burrowhead thing, where he might be Kelsey's dad, all that stuff. Um, Historically, Cincinnati has been great at Kansas City, and they were. They lost by a point, and it's a controversial damn point. I'll tell you. Um, if I were a conspiracy theorist, I might think the NFL wants the Chiefs in the Super Bowl and not necessarily Cincinnati. They won by a point, 26-25. I had Kansas City winning by a much larger margin. And Gobo, the same margin, just he picked 1 point higher than me on both teams to be a dumbass. And he accomplished that. He is a dumbass. But Kansas City won. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Never pick against Kansas City. Not
Never?
right now. Not right now. Not right now.
Fair enough. Let's move ahead. We already kind of talked about this, but Chicago goes to Houston. You got this year's rookie stud quarterback Caleb Williams against last year's CJ Stroud. We both had blowouts picked, but Chicago's defense is legit. They had
Yes.
24, I think they were down 17-0 at halftime in week one, and the defense
Yeah.
scored 24 points in the second half.
Yeah.
We win 24-17. Um, this week they kept the Bears in the game. Houston won 19-13.
Your
Caleb went,
defense can only do so much.
yeah, Caleb had a couple picks, but I think the new name for him is Bumble Nuts, as you can see on the spreadsheet. He did not have 4 picks. I think Gobo's going to pick him to have 4 picks every week until he does. We shall see. But no surprise in that game, other than it wasn't a blowout. Anything to add to that?
Only that I think Houston is only going to get better as the season goes along. I think they win the AFC South, and yeah.
Well, Jacksonville has made it easy on them so far, just by shitting the
And
bed.
I think Indianapolis is going to also. So
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
it is what it is.
And then we have the final game, which was Monday night football. Um, Go Bo, you dummy, you dumb ass.
Kirk
He
Cousins,
picked
what can you
Philly.
say, man?
He picked Philly, and he looked at me going, "You're gonna pick Philly," and I said, "You know what? I'm going Atlanta by 1." And he goes, "I love it. I love it when you make mistakes." Exact words. Uh, Again, he's not home. He's not here to just rub this in. But I'm gonna put it on Twitter and I'm gonna put it on TikTok that I'm gonna just play it over and over. that he loves it when I make mistakes. Yep. That clip will run in perpetuity until I am thusly satisfied on the inside. Um, I said 28-27. It was 21-22. Gobo said Philly 29-13. Come on, bro. My comment during this game was I don't know what Atlanta is all about. They have a lot of really good players. And I said the key to this game would be to stop AJ Brown. He didn't play. So they did that and they won.
Yep.
Who would have thought other than me?
Other than you.
Now let's talk
Um,
about the final drive though, because Kirk Cousins, he carved them up.
yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
I was worried when they didn't make the third down play or fourth down play and they gave the ball up inside their own uh side of the field. And then Saquon Barkley drops a crucial catch that would have iced the game and not given them a chance to get the ball back. Well, they get the ball back with just over a minute, and Kirk Cousins does things that he doesn't normally do on Monday Night Football. Remember, he went
Yeah.
0-8 in his first
Yes.
8 Monday Night Football games. So,
I like Kurt. I think I hopefully he does really well in Atlanta, but Philly, I think Philly's got some issues to work on. They didn't look that great in week one, even though they won. And they played out of the country and all that. But I think this game's a wake-up call for them. They've got some work to do.
yeah, I'm now in consecutive years thinking this is not a very good team. I mean, they have names. Saquon Barkley is a huge addition to this team. AJ Brown is one of the best receivers in the NFL. Where you at, Jalen Hurts? Where you at?
Well, and think about this. Your NFC East is going to come down to the Cowboys or the Eagles, because it is. And it's like, wow, you know, uh, how far has that division declined in the last couple of years? So
But yeah, I mean, and I'm still of the opinion that Washington's on the way up. Um,
hope you're right.
Me too. All right, that does it for recap. We went 8-8 this week, so the score remains the same. I'm up one. Not that any of this matters, but
It's a long season.
that's what happened. So we'll catch you on the actual episode covering week 3. Um, it should be right above this clip on the YouTube channel. See you soon.